Hi everyone and welcome to episode 235 of the Mighty Whites podcast. I'm Jack, as always joined by KC.
Hello.
And he's back after his, well, I'd say honeymoon period, but let's be right, he's been at work for most of it. Connie.
Hello boys, you alright?
Yeah, all good, mate. It's always nicer when you're coming into one of these after a win, isn't it?
Especially 2 in a week.
Yeah. And it might as well have all been because none of us watched the Southampton game, so it didn't happen.
No, there is still strong arguments for my manage to be annulled after that game, but still.
I mean, there's only one event that happens during this run of results that stops us from picking up points, and it is your wedding. So.
Oh yeah, I'm completely with you on this one. Yeah.
So there you go, everyone. That's who you can blame for the Southampton defeat. But this was much better. I mean, obviously we won the Wednesday night game against QPR, but it was also a shit game of football. Like, it was awful. This was much better. 2-1 win over Bristol City. And I suppose one of the main talking points out of it happened before kickoff when they put the team news out and everyone went, huh? Because there was about 8 ways around it could have been. And only if you'd watched the 21s or read about when England under 17s were at the Euros would you have thought, Archie Gray's played like that before.
Yeah, I think given the talk from Farke was that Byram was sort of up in the air as to whether he would be involved in this or not, and who would be starting at left back, and then to see that Luke Ayling had dropped out seemed quite odd to everyone, but fair play to him. Archie Gray is, as it turns out, is the best player in the world and can just play anywhere.
All joking aside, though, he was solid again, wasn't he? He didn't. Talking about 17-year-old lad here, and he just looks so calm and composed whenever he's played, and he's played in some potentially quite volatile games like the Millwall away, and he just seems so calm and just composed. He's good play everywhere.
I mean, if I remember rightly, I think he came away from that game with, I think it's like the most tackles and the most duels won.
Yeah,
in that game as well, he did really, really well there.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he held up really well. I thought it was quite interesting. It's weird to skip straight to after the game, but because we're talking about him, Bristol City's assistant said after the game that they didn't target him enough, which was weird because their only attacking plan was to hit long balls over the top of Archie Gray. That's what they did all game.
More long balls.
And in fairness, they played them really well because Archie Gray couldn't intercept any of them, and not because he was misjudging them. They were really well judged balls over the top. But every time they brought it down and then were one-on-one with Gray just stood up to him and didn't beat him. I mean, he never got beat. Not that I can remember anyway. I can't remember him getting skinned once.
No.
And, I mean, that's not something I'd realised was as big a strength in his game as it apparently is. He's like 1v1 defending. So that's a really good sign. It's probably... If Archie Gray is going, it's really early days for saying this, but if Archie Gray is that strong at right back, that probably is that for Ayling's hopes of having another year beyond this. Probably. Because it's going to be Spence anyway, in theory.
Yeah.
They were probably hoping that last year would be the last year.
Yeah.
But
makes
it's
you
good to
wonder
have the experienced head around the squad and stuff that rest at season and. Coming on with 5 minutes left like he did on this.
I mean, coming away from that, it does make you wonder if Byram hadn't made it, if it ends up being Archie Gray at left back. Because obviously you ran through that list of the options. If it's not him, were essentially you don't play with a left back, or it's one of Strauch and Cooper.
Yeah. I do think if we'd have been missing a left back, I still think it would have been Strauch and he'd have played Cooper left centre back. But I mean, it's always good when a player's that shows a bit of versatility and does well in a couple of different positions. That does not mean playing there regularly, keeping him in midfield. That's where he's best.
And then look what happened to Jamie Shackleton.
Yeah.
It's no longer a centre mid, that boy.
It's always nice to have
that 32-year-old boy.
But actually, aside, I believe he did end up getting man at match, like from the fans, which fair enough. He was one of a few candidates. I just thought Leeds all through the team were like I wouldn't say this was a game where anyone was absolutely outstanding, but everyone was good.
Yeah,
and that's enough at the minute when you've got unlike last year, the talent differential's in our favour now for most games. And just playing well will be enough. And I think it helped that Bristol City, they weren't gung-ho by any means. They didn't like throw themselves forward all the time. But they did show a little bit more attacking intent than just about every other team that's come to Elland Road this season. And it just meant there was that little bit more space and that it was just a better game for it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I probably give them a lot of credit for is in the first half, I thought they were pretty well organised. And I think it dropped off in the second half. Obviously, the goal will sort of, the second goal will do that as well. But I think that's the sort of balance you need to strike if you come into Elland Road and looking to take the game to Leeds a little bit. Is that you need that stability in terms of players sticking to their jobs, and I thought they did that fairly well. I know ultimately, I think we came away at half time. We'd had the better chances. We missed our best chance, obviously. But that's Leeds. And also, we've not conceded directly from a corner for a little while. So, that was nice to get back to the good old days.
Yeah.
That's something I was going to say over the set pieces with Bristol. It looked a bit of a threat from there. Obviously, like you just said, Kirsty, it's where equaliser came from. But I thought for main, though, it's just nice to see that we seem capable of dealing with threats like that now after so long of just not being able to. I was saying to Jack beforehand, it just seems like there's a plan there throughout now, even at the back. They just seem, I know they have the moments where it gets a bit chaotic, but like I say, it won't be Leeds if not. But Bristol, they were compact and they didn't do all particularly wrong, I won't say. They were just, but other than the set pieces, it was just like you say, it played into his hands a bit. But I think any team that's got Pearson there as well as manager, you know what you're getting with Pearson, don't you? It's going to be, it's rigid, and it's just it's going to be that, isn't it? But I think that's going to be a case for a lot of games at Elland Road though this year.
Yeah,
Nigel Pearson sat there with his chair straight out of the banqueting suite, which was a nice touch. It's very odd because I'd clearly missed at the start why he was sat in a chair, but the fact like when Naki Wells went down injured, he just seemed to sit there, and it was like watching a Roman emperor just sort of looking over, going, "The next one, please." Just had a check-up. No, and then I don't think it was until the second half I found out that he's on crutches. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I only found that it was a week or so ago. It might have even been the midweek games. It came up, so that's the only reason that I knew.
I saw it when they were playing, when Leicester were playing Bristol. I think it was on the highlight show. And I noticed it then that he was hobbling around on a crutch.
Oh, yeah, they did play him recently because he got like a really good ovation from Leicester.
Yeah, I think it was when Vardy scored that penalty in that length at pitch.
Yeah.
Booted one of his crutches, I imagine.
Yeah,
probably.
It's been a shit house as usual.
That would have been hilarious.
And he's
going to smash a corner flag? No, crutch.
Well, because as you mentioned before, in first half, Leeds had basically all the chances for 48 and a half minutes. And the best one, ball through for Crescencio Somerville, who, let's be honest, has a shot with his left foot and scuffs it. And then Jorginho just picks out a wonderful pass to that guy in middle at South Stand. I mean, it would be difficult to have that level of vision to see that pass, but he pulled it off.
This is what £40 million gets you in the Championship.
I remember speaking to my mum midweek and just going, "No, honestly, he's brilliant." I just remember sitting there going, "You've made me look like a right dick. Come on, I said really nice things about you, and look what you've done."
The thing is, though, when you saw it in real time, you're thinking, "Fucking hell, how have you done that?" And it's harder to do what you've done than hit the back of the frigging net. But then when you saw the replay back and it takes that, but don't get me wrong, it should be scoring it. I'm not saying that, but when you see it at the bobble that it does, there is an explanation for it at least.
Yeah, you can see what happened.
Yeah,
but I do think the main thing is he thinks he's scored before he's scored, and he just takes his eye off it. And we've all done it, but if you're playing up front at a high level of football, you probably shouldn't do it.
I worry about the day when Piro's out for a couple of weeks and it's Bamford and Rutter. He's just thinking, between you, come on, one of you. One of you's got to finish these chances.
Honestly, right now, if Piro gets injured, it's probably still Bamford on bench, Rutter's up front, Somerville plays 10, and we'll bring in one of the wingers.
Yeah. I will say one thing, though. Imagine the work rate if you have Bamford and Rutter up front. They'll run.
They will run. But yeah, Rutter's miss, it was a weird thing. That's how I know that he is properly my favourite player. I didn't even shout at him. Fuck you fucking... No, nothing. I just literally laughed and went, I love him, that boy. And it shows how much the opinion has turned, because no one around me was mad at him or slating him in the ground. They were all going, "That's Rutter for you, isn't it? He'll do something that makes him look like a world beater in 5 minutes."
It'll be like those lambs in the episode of The Simpsons where he does that and everyone's like, "Oh, Pat Bamford does it. Move out of the way, you stupid sheep." Oh, Jorginho. Yeah. The one thing you got to say is it's good that he's getting into those sorts of positions at least.
Yeah, it was the right movement. That O'Leary goal for them made a few good saves. Probably the best one was he got out well to deny, and it really is this. So I'm going to have to get you to say it. Peru.
Yeah.
Nah, mate. The Bristol City commentators were calling him Pyro at one point.
Well. We needed a new Tyro. Now we've got Pyro. But yeah, he got out to deny him well, sort of didn't give him any space, closed down the one-on-one. The pass was probably half a yard too long. But one of the saves led to the goal. It was Peru from distance, hit it really well. Fairly straight at the keeper, but swerving and loads of power. Parries it wide. They have a chance to clear and just don't. Kamara puts him under pressure. Rutter wins it back. Drives it across the box. Somerville goes to sort of hit it but can't get there, tries to take a touch, drops it behind him by accident, Dan James, and in a very un-Dan James way, takes a breath and very calmly finishes. Just no panic whatsoever. One of them weird ones where, of course, Somerville gets the assist for that, for miscontrolling the ball.
Well, it's the knock-on effect from Dan James's assist at Millwall.
Yeah.
Like you say, very, very nice to see Dan James just calmly inside of the foot, putting it back across the keeper into the bottom corner. And again, the reverse of what I'd been saying to my mum about Jorginho, where I'd been slating Dan James, and he's made me look like a right dick as well by doing the right thing and scoring.
Yeah. No, I mean, it wasn't a particularly difficult finish, but he took it well, and it's his first one for the season, which hopefully will help. He had a pretty solid game, nothing spectacular right the way through. And that was pretty much Leeds' half, all the way through, looking the better side, creating chances, should probably have more. And then basically the last touch other than the kickoff of the game, Gardner Hickman swings in a corner. Cal Naismith, I would say completely unmarked. Having seen it back, he was marked, just badly. And just heads it in.
The replay I saw, it appeared to be Glenn Kamara who was marking him.
Yeah.
And there seemed to be something of a size differential between the two.
I think there was also a facing the ball and challenging it for it differential as well.
Oh, yes.
There seems to be a bit of like back turning and shutting eyes. Just, you know.
My heading style. I appreciate that. It's very odd when you see, I think Sam Byram was the defender nearer the post, and I couldn't help but feel, should you not be marking someone as one of the taller people in this team? But no.
In the second half, Farker will shut you up about that comment.
Well, yes, obviously. But yeah.
On the subject of Farker shutting people up, one, obviously, he gave a 13-minute answer about why it's Pro 10 and Rutter up front. Every single person around me didn't make a shite of difference. They were all still going, why aren't they the other way around? So, I remember saying to him, look, it's not going to happen. He has spent 13 minutes explaining why it ain't going to happen. Don't care. Fair enough. Did you see the quote from Farker about that goal just before halftime?
No.
I was furious. I wanted to throw water bottles, all of that stuff, but that doesn't help. You have to be calm. The players don't need an overly emotional manager. And that is, if anything, I reckon a shot. Because I don't think he said that by accident. I think he is having a go at a certain American.
Yep. Yep.
There's something I really appreciate about this man just internalizing his rage. And then being very softly spoken about it afterwards.
Yes, I was furious.
Wait. Oh, yes, I only do the sun's inside. I have to portray calm. It's quite nice that this season I've not been particularly worried about us conceding from set pieces. As opposed to the last 3 years, where every incoming corner has led to the fear that even though we weren't playing West Ham, that Souček was going to bang one in anyway.
Yeah. I think you could pretty much say every year since George Graham left, with the exception of the year where we had Bartley and Janssen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even like the old Leary years. They had a balls up on him, didn't they, from a set piece? You knew they did. It was just, yeah.
But no, luckily, it was the sort of game that could have got stressful really quickly. That as you come out of the second half and they're relatively set and they're looking okay, but we knock the ball around well, keep hold of it, go all the way up the pitch, get it to edge at box, Glenn Kamara into Peru, shifts it onto his left foot. And just low shot through defender's leg, no real power on it, just really well placed. And you know that you see a lot of good players doing this. They're able to sort of, I think it's a natural instinct to time the shot as the keeper's moving his body weight. So then when you go back to that side, it's really hard for them to get back across. I think it is an instinct. Harry Kane's really good at it. But yeah, just low into the corner. Not even that far in the corner, to be honest. Just a really good finish for caught everyone out with it. And what's that? 5 in, what has he played? 9 games?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying about the goal, it's one of those sort of, it makes the keeper look worse than they are, because it didn't go with a lot of pace. But yeah, just that slight shift in weight just makes it so difficult to get down in the opposite direction. But you just watch him, and obviously there's certain games where, all right, Brownie, calm down.
What did you say? Apparently it's 8 matches, not 9. And also, you'll have seen Bamford score 5 goals in 8 matches. He scored 17 in the Premier League season.
It's that thing at the moment of, yeah, there's going to be games where we complain that Peru hasn't done a whole lot, but he can do that, and he'll do it on a regular basis. So you kind of just go, yeah, fair enough. If he keeps scoring, I don't really care that he's not legging it around the pitch.
No, we were saying on Wednesday, weren't we, Jack? And
because he was shite on Wednesday.
it was awful.
Like,
There were just nothing there. There were no like urgency to get. Fair enough, he was playing 10, but there were no urgency to even get in and around edge area, you know, for drop down or whatever it might be. They were just stood there practically in like a 20-yard patch of their half doing fuck all basically. But it's like you just said though, we've had players like this over years. Sorry, like we can go back to Viduka, we can go back to Hasselbank, and like even more recent, like a Beckford. You don't see them for an hour, and you think, what are they actually doing? And then they'll go and bang in 2 goals, or they'll go and bang you a winner, and you think, well, it's what we pay you to do. Yeah, you are paid to score goals. Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't think him not being involved in a game is really sacrificing anything in the team. You know, I don't think I've never looked at it this season anyway. When he's been a bit quiet, where I've never thought we're trying to play around him or sort of make up for him not being too into it. No. You know, so I don't think that, or for me anyway, I don't think there's been any detriment to the team for his quieter moments.
No. I mean, Leeds should have gone on to have more. Somerville had a really good shot that was tipped onto the woodwork, which was a great save, to be honest. And there was a lot of chances late on where if we'd have broke properly, the number of times that we broke when they started really chasing the game at the end and had 3-on-2 and made a mess of it. I mean, look, I love Bamford, but he had a couple of moments late on where, like, there was one where he got played through and just didn't shoot and went to square it, and it just got cleared. There was another one where he had 2 passes and he waited and then just passed it straight to Bristol City defender in the middle of it. He seems to have gone back into that lack of confidence mode again.
I mean, between that and match sharpness, it is going to happen at times.
But again, the running and stuff when he came on was good. We should have got another one, but luckily it didn't punish us because it nearly did. Because late on, as we're on about with the set pieces, corner comes in, Andy Vyman header, and Sam Byram heads it away off the line.
Yeah.
And that was a massive moment. That because if we'd have conceded a second one, you know what it's like in Elland Road. If it had happened again, no chances, no real threat, and then bang, another goal out of nowhere, I think that people would have been really pissed off, and it'd have probably filtered through to the players.
Yeah.
But no, that by the end of it, it was just a good win against. It's weird because there's a lot of teams that, you know, like Sheff Wednesday and Cardiff who got draws at Elland Road, but Bristol City did look better than them by a fair amount. So I think that's quite a good win, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they will be. I look at them and probably think they'll be competing for sort of 5th or 6th. You know, those last couple of playoff spots. There's still a decent team. I know you're probably looking at sort of like Wells and Vyman, who are sort of towards the back end of their career now. But Vyman will always score goals in the Championship. You know, I think they have a solid team, as we said last time. I don't think there's any massive standout players in there, but they'll be fine.
No, that Harry Cornick looked okay when he came on, and it's weird to see a centre forward with a long throw that isn't Michael Antonio, who used to play right back, so it makes sense. Like that, I was surprised at how quiet Jason Knight was in midfield for them, because he's quite highly rated, and I didn't really see much. But yeah, they were solid.
Yeah.
So going into the international break, that puts us 5th, 19 points from 11 games. It looks a bit distorted because obviously that is objectively a good start. Like it is. It's thrown off a bit by Leicester having what I believe now is the best start in the history of. Well, it's definitely since it became the Championship. So
I
like
saw
2004.
I saw some earlier online, and between them and Ipswich, since it was, I'd say, rebranded as the Championship, I think Leicester's is the best start, and I believe Ipswich is like fourth.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like they've both had unreal stats. So they've ended up with a bit of, like, you know, Leicester are. It's not even that they're 2 points clear of us. They are 10 points clear of third.
Yeah.
And Ipswich are 8 points clear of third, which is a lot. But I mean, what have we played? 11 games.
11 games, 35 games left yet. It's yeah. But the thing is that, and it'll happen to us, that they'll have a wobble.
Every team, I think even Reading, when they got like 106 points, even they did have one bad run.
Yep.
I mean, admittedly, that bad run was some draws.
Yeah.
You know, like, but everyone has a wobble, and we'll see around Christmas where they are. But right now, like, I'd have to say, I would have snapped your hand off for this points total after 11 games.
Yeah, I think we're upheaval within the squad, and like going into the first couple of games at season, where we had the whole business with Nonto, we had the Sinistera thing rumbling on. Yeah, I think given all of that, then yeah, you'd take it. I think if all that had been settled in the summer, well, in summer before it starts season, I think we'd probably have that extra 6-9 points ourselves. To be honest, I really do.
Yeah, I agree, because I think if this is sorted before the opening game at season, like we beat Cardiff on opening day, we beat Sheffield Wednesday, and we probably don't lose at Birmingham.
No, probably not.
So you're probably looking at 5 or 6 extra points, but overall, it's still been pretty good.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I've just looked and Reading's wobble was 3 draws in a row.
Yeah, I think that they were draws. They did have one run where
they lost on the opening day of the season, and they didn't lose again until the middle of February.
Yeah,
that was their 2 defeats.
Yeah, and when you think back, it was like what Kevin Doyle. Was it Kevin Doyle, Stephen Hunt, and Noel Hunt?
Yeah, Stephen and Noel Hunt were there. Yeah.
Shane Long have been there then. Oh, was he?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. They basically just signed like 4 kids out the Irish League, and they all did, and they all clicked.
It all turned out to be half decent, yeah.
Oh, and they had like Steve Sidwell as well, I think.
So your 4 strikers to choose from, bearing in mind 2 of them had come from Cork City. There was Leroy Leiter, Dave Kitson, Kevin Doyle, Shane Long, and a young Simon Cox had come through from the academy as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I quite like that team. I was always a big fan of Dave Kitson. We used to sign him on FM06 in the Premier League.
What, you mean the secret footballer?
Yeah.
It's not him, though. He always says it's not him.
Guys, why do you keep asking me this? It's not me.
It's not me. How come everyone thinks it's you then? I don't know. Yeah, we haven't got loads else to go into. So, is there? Because I believe Connie, you had a thing that you had a thought about in the 10 minutes we were waiting for KC.
Yeah. Now, obviously, going into international breaks, so it's a time I think to look back and reflect on some of the god awful shite internationals that we've had play for us, and earned call ups fucking somehow when they've played for us. And I've got a few that I can throw out there to you, and we can discuss them. If you've got more to add in there, I'm open to suggestions. But
if the topic is be shit at Leeds and still get called up for your country, yes. I reckon number 1 is Brendan Harris.
100%.
Can I just say, and this is a very Leeds way to look at this, is because we've had some quality players play for us and do well internationally. No, let's look at the shit ones.
Yep. It won't be Leeds United if we don't look back. I mean, I know obviously we've had the relegation and all that, but you look at where we are now to where we were 10 years ago. We're light years away from that now. So I think it's still acceptable to look back And some of these players, they were just fucking no-hopers. It wasn't just that they were a bit crap when they played at Leeds. You just watch some of them and think, how are you a professional footballer? And, I'm going to put one out there now. Paul Green.
I love that at the A1 Football Factory.
Yeah.
The picture.
I know what you're going to say here. I know what you're going to say. I've been to some of the kids' birthday parties at here. Is it something to do about an appearance against a certain Argentinian?
There is something fantastic about seeing this banner of Paul Green chasing after Leo Messi.
Yeah. But
fair enough, because there's not many can say they've shared a picture with Messi.
No.
And I assume there's not going to be many moments when Leo Messi is chasing back to nick it off Paul Green. So it's probably
the fact that you're saying that sentence in itself just.
I've just looked at Paul Green's international years, and the thing that's really weird with him is that there's a lot of these players that I've had half a thought about, and they got called up a lot before they got to Leeds or something, and then still got called up while they were at Leeds, but it was because they were sort of grandmothered in. Whereas Paul Green, he only played for Republic of Ireland for 4 years, and 2 of those years were the years he was at Leeds.
Yep.
He got a European Championship in there as well.
Yeah,
he did. Yes, he did. But yeah, it's like I have obviously a slight interest in the Irish national team, and when
really,
you see,
Mr. Con Cannon.
Yeah, you would have thought. Like I say, you look at him and you just think he was shy. I'm sorry, he was just shy, wasn't he?
Right, I'm going to throw out a name from a similar era, and I still don't know where he ranked for us in terms of ability, because we were somewhat obsessed with Rodolphe Austin when he first arrived, mostly because he seemed to have the willingness to shoot from 45 yards for no particular reason and absolutely flew into a tackle. And I don't know if it's just because we were so poor as a team and he was an average player that we went, oh, bloody hell, he's good. And then when we signed some vaguely all right centre mid, you kind of went, I don't know. Because you had the era of I'm trying to remember who it was on the square. Was it Amo on the square ball talking about staying up till about 3 a.m. to watch Austin playing international games and stuff like that. I bear no ill will towards him, but I just sort of look back now and just think, I don't think he was that good.
I think it was in a time where, like you said, we were just crap, weren't we? The seasons would be done by October and we'd just kind of coast it out and just think, yeah, sod it. And I think we just made most of small mercies, really. I think you could be onto something. I mean, me having the football style I had when I played, I thought it were fucking fantastic. I love someone who likes to tackle. I'm all about that. But yeah, it wasn't fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, that era was an interesting one, obviously, because you got, and I assumed his international career was done, but obviously you get Juve comes in and he has his sojourn. I'm going to say he had his international breaks, but mostly for funerals.
Yeah, international funerals.
Yeah.
He only shows up for the big ones.
Go on, then, Connor. Have you got anyone else for us, Connor?
I have just thought of one, and it's weird because he did get called up before he came to us. And he also got called up in his first season with us, which was fine. But then Diego Llorente got called up for Spain at his worst at Leeds. The bad Diego Llorente. And he got in the team for Spain.
Yeah,
if as much as they have had, better generations of players and stuff, if Rudy Austin was getting called up while he wasn't playing great, it was Jamaica. This is for Spain, and he's getting called up while not playing well in a Leeds team that's shipping goals at the bottom of the Premier League.
It shows how far Spain have dropped. I say how far they've dropped, but where they've come from to where they are now. When you're looking at Chefin Diego Llorente, who's, let's face it, his legs are made of fucking glass as they are. It's not good.
No,
most other ones I can think of are like smaller nations, so it's not as like it'd be harsh to say, oh, they were terrible but got called up.
I don't know. I think it still qualifies. If with best will in world, if you're from fucking San Marino, if you're playing at a decent level, supposedly, and you're shite, I think it still deserves it. I say go for it. I mean, I'm going to throw Roque Jr. in there for obvious reasons, but then you have got the argument of he won a World Cup and a Champions League.
Yeah,
not Leeds, granted, but
I'll tell you,
I'm loath to say
if he was still getting called up, Mika Verinen. And
I think he was, and Forsell.
Yeah. Because I've just looked now, he's got 64 caps, and it's some before and so, and it goes through his time at Leeds. So I'm guessing he was still getting called up the whole time, and I never saw him have a good game.
No. I'm gonna go back to the Irish theme again. Darren O'D.
Oh,
was he getting in the Ireland team?
He was in the Ireland team, yeah.
Yeah, that might be the strongest shout yet.
Darren O'D. What a fucking god awful centre half he was. Fucking god awful. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, this conversation makes me gutted that around 2011 Argentina didn't have a left back problem and have to sniff around Federico Bassoni, but.
Jesus Christ, Federico Bassoni. I forgot he existed. Fuck me. It just got progressively worse.
My apologies, I'll have to go on mute. My 2-year-old just walked in the room. One sec.
Fair enough. KC will just bang on about how shite Fede Bassoni was. Apparently though, he came through at Barcelona, apparently. But so did Becchio.
Okay. Sorry, just looking at someone who I thought had got international caps, but I'm not entirely sure they actually do. Was Shane Lowry from his loan? I absolutely hated him. There was a lot of players around that period who came in on loan. I tell you what, again, someone to make their England debut after Leeds.
Right.
I don't think I've ever rated is Jake Livermore.
Christ, yeah, we had him on loan first year back in Championship, didn't we?
Yeah, Jake Livermore subbed off 2-3 half times in a row.
Somewhat daft like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd never rated him, and then never saw a right lot in him in the Premier League with probably West Brom at that point, and in and out at Spurs. And he's got some England caps. I just thought, how?
At least I don't think Livermore got them while he was here.
No. It was after us, like. But also as well, and I know we all kind of liked him at the time because I think again we were kind of clinging on to if someone had a little bit of flair about him, and they could trap a ball, there were sort of talent. I think around this time, but 2011, 2012, Ramon Nunes.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah, I think you're right because I liked Ramon Nunes.
Yeah, we all did. I remember us all saying he's a good player.
I think it is just because of what was around there at the time. But, I mean, with it being Honduras, he will have been getting in that side.
Oh, easy.
I assume.
Yeah, easy. Going back a little bit further, 2 for you now. Danny Hay and Jacob Burns.
Well, Jacob Burns is up there for my least favourite footballer I've ever seen in a Leeds United shirt. So I've just, on that subject, fuck Paul Ocon as well.
Wow.
I'm Terry Venables for bringing Paul Ocon.
Yeah.
Danny Hay, I always find a funny one because I can only assume during that time he was making international appearances because he was probably the best known New Zealand footballer,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even playing. But he would get on the bench sometimes for Leeds.
Yeah.
Ergo, he must be all right.
I'll tell you who's another one, but the truth is I can't remember how bad he was at Leeds, but he will have still been getting picked internationally, I think. Hayden Fox.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the year we went down to League One.
Yeah, but the truth is, that's the season that I saw the least of Leeds, just various reasons that I couldn't get to games and stuff like that.
Picked a good year to miss, in all fairness.
Yeah, so like when I remember him, I remember people slating him, but I didn't actually see that much of it to know how shit he was.
Yeah, it was just. I think it was just. It summed up that season. I think did lad. It won. Yeah, it was shite. Let's just call a spade a spade. It was shite. But yeah, we've missed out a glaring one as well. Sweden.
It's before my time.
I was gonna say it's before your time, definitely.
Yeah.
But, I had the unfortunate fucking displeasure of having to watch that fat bastard just try and lumber his way around field. Yeah, we had him. If we're going to base it on his international career, and I never rated him at Leeds, and I don't know if he got the call up whilst he was at Leeds. I'm not 100%. But I'm going to say Carlton Palmer.
I'm fairly sure that he will have got called up while he was at Leeds, but again, I don't remember.
He was awful for Leeds, and I know there's some people that will probably.
Oh no, I've just checked. His last cap was 93. I thought that it'd be 94. But yeah, he didn't get one while at Leeds. I thought that there would have been before we had the first few months at Leeds, it'd have still been in there, but no.
Like around that era of England is honestly, I would happily do an episode of this podcast where we pick the England Euro 92 squad. Because the fact we were champions going into that, and our total input in that squad was David Batty sometimes played right back.
Yeah,
it is absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, I've one of the things, and I'm saying this of someone I've barely actually seen play, but obviously from watching a lot of like season review videos, how Rod Wallace didn't get like 8 England caps, I don't know.
No.
I'm not saying he should have been your first choice striker or anything, but the fact that man doesn't play for England is scandalous.
When you see and all that, further down the line, Darius Vassell got the amount of England caps that he got, your argument's valid.
Yeah, there's been if he'd have had the exact same career 10 years later, he'd have got caps.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Sven had given him 5. He loved calling up an outsider, did Sven, didn't he?
Yeah. Especially a forward that could play wide.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Just on the subject of Rod Wallace, he's currently the reserve team coach at Epsom, and I'm guessing that's pronounced Ewell because it's spelt like Jason Ewell.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I believe it is part of the coaching staff at Bristol City.
Who's this?
It's Jason Ewell with Craig Fleming.
Craig Fleming, wow.
Yeah, that came up on the commentary, and it answered the question I hadn't asked.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he ever got a call up whilst they were at Leeds, or whether he's had one at all. Did Mike Grella get up?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he's got caps.
I always wanted him to.
Yeah, I'm looking here and I can't.
No, he never got them. But if you would have said that he was one of the worst, I'd have been taking you to task and slagging you because I love Mike Grella. I think he was much better than he got credit for. That doesn't mean he was as good as Beckford or I think he was a better player than he got credit for, Mike Grella. By quite a lot.
Speaking of strikers that were, shite at Leeds, I think I mentioned it to you earlier, Jack. Caleb Ekuban.
Serie A stalwart.
Yep, Caleb Ekuban.
Oh, God,
I'm
imagine
putting it out there because
him and Bamford up front pressing together.
I'll tell you what, he is back. He is back to Leeds United. He's doing it at a higher level, but he is back to Leeds United. Lead the line, run well, try hard. He's got 3 goals in 46 games for Genoa. That's Caleb Ekuban.
Always knew he'd come well.
I don't know if you saw KC, but did you see the mental end to the AC Milan game at the weekend?
I did not know.
Mike Maignan got sent off for AC Milan, so Giroud had to go in goal. And then the Genoa keeper also got sent off in stoppage time. So both teams had an outfield player in goal at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, actually, no, Genoa did. They'd only made 4 subs. They did get to bring the sub-keeper on. But the reason Mike Maignan was sent off was for running out of his goal to win a header, and in the process, clean V-trigger knee to the jaw on Caleb Ekuban.
Wow. Yeah. I suppose at this point, and I don't, it's probably not something we've spoken about, at least for a while, is kind of our relationship with international football at this point. Because obviously, Connie, again, you have your leanings towards the Republic of Ireland. Yeah. I think I'm very much in the camp of I don't really give a shit about England up until a tournament starts, and then I'm all in.
Yeah.
It's very glory supporter-ish.
We're like Ryan Giggs. We're not interested in shite, but for the big games, we'll be there.
Like honestly, like these games are an inconvenience.
Yep.
And I will not go out of my way to watch an England qualifying game.
I don't even know who we're playing.
I couldn't tell you. No.
Isn't there another one in November as well?
I think so, yeah.
Are these qualifiers or is this Nations League?
I will have a look, but I honestly have no idea.
Again, this very much sums up our relationship with international football at the moment. I suppose now.
Well, one of them must be a friendly because it's Australia.
No, it's like a Eurovision thing. I think they're just entering for the year.
That's on the Friday night, and then we play Italy at home on the Tuesday. And then in November, home to Malta, away at North Macedonia. 3 international breaks by the time the Premier League will be about 13 games into the season, 12 maybe.
Yeah,
and then Jurgen Klopp will be furious that they have that 12:30 kickoff again.
Yeah,
I
believe they do as well.
It's always them. It's like this conspiracy. I think there was some joy to watching England generally when Calvin was getting picked and playing for us. Yeah. But with him leaving, and also my knowledge of he's not playing nearly enough to be in that squad, but that's a different issue. I just go off it so quickly. I'm not obviously on the Scouse side of things of being anti-England, as I know it can be in parts over there. But I just don't give a shit until we get to the tournament, or until we're being that bad that we're not going to qualify, and then I'll happily join a pile-on.
Yeah, that's the only way to make the qualification interesting is to do it badly.
Yeah, because again, like I don't get any joy from us beating San Marino 8-0. No. But I'll happily get annoyed that we only beat them 3-0.
But this is the thing, though. When we go through these qualifying campaigns, or we play these friendlies, or whatever else, for me, they'll beat San Marino or some other shite like Liechtenstein. It's some real crap, and then but they bang on about them. Then, and you think these are multi-millionaire, high-end professional footballers. They should be beating these teams by this amount as a bare minimum. That they're not even full-time players after that, and I find it hard to get behind because everyone. But like I say, if they have a bad result, they're the worst team ever. Yeah, if they have a good result against a fucking mediocre team, that they're going to win World Cup, and you just think, Come on, give it a break. You know,
it is just stupid because with club football we don't get like that. So to end this podcast, are we all on board HMS Piss for League?
damn right we are.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's not changing.
No, mate, we conceded a goal from a corner. Fuck her out.
Oh,
Excellent.
I'm really sorry now. But just to add a quick one in here now, just a couple of names that I've just looked up now. If you want to have a little guess at it, I'm open to it. So they both played at the African Cup of Nations in 2004. So the first relegation year from the Premier League. Both
Solomon Alembe.
Solomon Alembe. That is one of them for Cameroon.
And say Oulala Sezou. No, he was French, wasn't he?
He was French.
And I think he got one cap for France.
Jesus.
I want to say.
Was Lamine Sacco there?
You have got Lamine Sacco. He was there with Senegal and Alembe.
Did he get called up while playing for Leeds?
Yes.
Then he's right up at the top of the list.
He has got to. Apart from his debut against Newcastle when he made Woodgate look average.
Yeah.
And then after that, but yeah, fucking Solomon Alembe and Lamine Sacco.
Yeah, I forgot Lamine Sacco existed. I hated him.
Yeah. I didn't after the first game. After the Newcastle game, I thought, yeah, got a player here. Then, yeah, that quickly.
I think I hated him more because of that game.
Yeah, because he showed that he could do it.
Yeah, if it had just been dreadful the entire time,
yeah,
I'd have probably just thought, well, he's shit.
Yeah,
like, I don't hate Cyril Chapuis.
No, I don't think he was trying to be shit. He just was.
I've just found out from looking at, because I was looking at Cyril Chapuis's Wikipedia at that moment, and that's the first I've realised he wasn't Swiss.
Oh, French, aren't they? What are they French?
Yeah. I don't know why I got it in my head he was Swiss.
Well, so
we got Stefan Chapuisat.
That's what I was going to say. It's because you're thinking of Stefan Chapuisat.
He did have 9 under-21 caps for France, though. So there is that. No, I mean, obviously sort of the talent of that era was fantastic. Teddy Lucic might have got a couple of caps while he was with us.
I didn't mind him, though. I thought Teddy Lucic was all right.
Oh, yeah. It would obviously get much worse.
Did Stephen Caldwell get a call-up for Scotland when he was with us?
I only assume so.
Yeah, we're going to say that's got to be up there because God almighty, he was poor. Yeah, he was bad.
If someone's already looked at Teddy Lucic, then stay out of it. But I don't believe Connie has. Connie, how many Sweden caps do you think Teddy Lucic got?
Oh, I'm going to be generous, and I'm going to say 36.
Be more generous.
Never. Go on.
Well, like, I can't believe it myself. He got 86 caps.
Hey, Jesus.
His debut for Sweden was 1995. He played for Sweden for 11 years.
That's just, yeah. It's not often I'm speechless, but yeah, that's got me as that. If Teddy Lucic can get 85 caps for fucking Sweden, how have we not got England B caps when we were younger?
Yeah, and more importantly, he also has an IMDb page.
Jesus.
Most of it for football-related things, but he also played himself in a series called Gomeron. And on that bombshell.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I can add out more to this now.
Yeah, you're not topping that.
No,
this is something that I just didn't think of, but Michael Brown's just put it in the comments. When we're on about teams having a wobble, Leicester will have a few players go to AFCON in January. I hadn't thought of that, but yeah, that like Ndidi and a couple of others might go, and that may be when they do have the wobble. Hopefully, let's hope they have a wobble. But yeah, that will do us for episode 235 at Mike White's podcast. We will probably be back end of next week, unless some weird major news happens. There's no point us doing one in between because no what's going to happen. So back end of week when we're a bit nearer to knowing what the team might be and stuff, because it's Norwich in it first game back.
Yeah,
and that'll be a big one. So as you can probably hear, there is a child after my attention. So I've been Jax here.
I mean, Casey, have a good one.